Virginia yesterday voted to approve a new congressional map. On the left of your screen is the old map, and on the right is the new map. We're going to bring those maps up, aren't we? There we go. There they are. This new map, one with a lot more blue, very likely, not a guarantee, but pretty likely, could give Democrats a 10-1 advantage in their House delegation. That would be a 4-seat pickup compared to the old, more red map you see on your screen. CBS News political director Fin Gómez joins me now at the family table. So this was about a 3-point margin in Virginia. Democrats won. It's closer than they thought it would be when this all got started. Is there any sense among Republicans that money was left on the sidelines?
Oh, absolutely.
That could have helped the Republicans defeat this measure and protect or put in a better position those Republican House seats that are now in jeopardy?
Yeah, I actually spoke to a Virginia county chair. I won't say who it is, but they were furious. They felt that the National Republicans and the Republican Party overall could have spent more. They were outspent 2-1 compared to the Democrats' effort, and there was over $81 million spent on ads, Major. And in that, they just didn't. If you lived in Virginia, you saw these ads constantly, and they felt that they were at a disadvantage compared to what the Democrats were spending.
And that this was winnable if they had the proper amount of resources.
That's right. And if you look at the Trump political machine right now, they have about altogether $346 million, right? And they didn't really spend that in there. And if you look at like the Democratic side, they also use like political heavy hitters like former President Barack Obama, Gavin Newsom, Wes Moore. Others were out there campaigning, barnstorming, and we didn't see President Trump really get.
No, it was basically left to rank and file Virginia Republicans and former Governor Glenn Youngkin.
Yeah, so there's a lot of frustration coming from Virginia Republican ranks.
All right, let's open up the aperture a little bit, Finn. Let's look at how this is all sorted out nationally. Let's put up the graphic in the control room, please. Blue, California pick up 5 seats in all likelihood. Utah, 1 seat. The graphic's coming your way, I promise you, ladies and gentlemen. Virginia now projected 4 seats. On the red side of the ledger, there it is. Here we go. Texas, 5. That's where much of this began, at least in this year. 1 seat in Missouri, 2 seats in Ohio. North Carolina, 1 seat. It's essentially right now kind of a wash.
It is.
The big wild card, Florida.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
Will Florida, under Governor Ron DeSantis, which he has indicated he wants to, redraw the lines?
Well, look, he called for a special legislative session specifically on this. It's happening next week. Look, some Republicans that we spoke to say they could draw up a new map that could potentially add as many as 5 new Republican districts in Florida. Florida is a big state. There are a lot of districts. It's got a lot more right in recent cycles. We'll see if that happens.
That's a lot. That's the biggest number I've heard. Most numbers I've heard are closer to 3 that would be relatively safe Republicans. You get to 5, then these are very marginal districts, maybe nominally red, but that could also jeopardize some of the Republicans if it's a wave year for Democrats.
Well, look, there is always a domino effect when it comes to these things. That could absolutely happen in Florida. Look, DeSantis is, by all measures, possibly eyeing another presidential run potentially. He wants to. I think this is something that will help boost him again nationally. I do suspect he's got a good track here in gaining some new districts, Republican-friendly districts in the Sunshine State. So we'll see what happens next week.
There's also a wild card before the Supreme Court. We're not going to get into that now, but they're going to look at the Voting Rights Act, and if they change that, that could have effect on redistricting either this cycle or in 2028. We'll get to that at another time. Fin Gómez, always a pleasure to have you here at the family.